On an alternate version of Foot, humans began developing robots. With advanced artificial intelligence, called Sims or Sims for short, they soon became part of everyday life. So in order to make them more human-like, people volunteered to scan and recreate their own faces on the robots. Soon, since we're no longer just workers, they were companions, sports leaders, and even law enforcement officers. One day, a nuclear warhead exploded in Los Angeles because of a government-created sim game, killing nearly 1 million people. The Western world united to ban artificial intelligence, but New Asia continued to support Sims and treated them as equal citizens. The West started a mission to eliminate all Sims, constantly attacking New Asia to achieve that goal. The key weapon was the Nomad, a massive space station that scanned the ground for Sims and swiftly wiped them out. The Army's primary objective was to locate near Martha, the scientist responsible for leading the development of artificial. Years later, and a team of American soldiers landed on the shores of New Asia. While the Nomad scanned the area from above, Joshua lived nearby with his pregnant wife Maya, who had a very unique life. Suddenly they hear a noise. Joshua quickly puts on his robotic limbs to investigate and finds their Sim friends. They are a group of guards led by Haroon, would take him in after discovering an American soldier named Drew sneaking around. One of the Sims beats Drew to make him talk, but he remains silent as the Nomad approaches. The group decides to move and find a new hiding spot. Hans team hurries to prepare for the move. While Maya packs alone, Joshua begs Drew for more time. It turns out, Joshua is also an undercover American soldier, married to Maya because she is connected to Nelmada. When the Sims engage the American soldiers outside, a gunfight begins. Joshua takes Drew's radio and pleads with the commander to stop the raid, insisting that Naramatha is not there. Maya overhears this and is upset to learn that Joshua didn't leave the military as he promised. She points a gun at him, but before anything happens, the soldiers drag Joshua out of. 5 years later, Joshua returns to the rescue board and tries to adjust the civilian life, but at that moment, he takes a lot of medication for PTSD and regularly everyone therapist who uses tests to ensure he doesn't have any sensitive information. Joshua eventually finds a job as a cleaner at 00. One afternoon, Joshua and his coworkers discover a machine that suddenly activates. As it begs for mercy, its movements and voice seem so real. That is Kova Hispanic Joshua, however, quickly shuts it down and reminds them that these are just machines without emotions, and any robots they find must be destroyed. Later, Joshua watches my ass video at home, reminiscing about when she customized her robotic limbs. She shared how she lost them when the nukes exploded in Los Angeles, and that she also lost her entire family that day. He then goes for a swim, but is suddenly approached by General Andrews and Colonel Hovell, who need his help on a mission. The reveal that No Matter is developing a superweapon, capable of destroying the Nomad. Without the ship, the Western world will lose the war. Joshua is the only one familiar with the lab's layout, so he should lead a team to destroy the superweapon. Initially, Joshua refuses, pointing out they wouldn't be in this situation if they hadn't lied about his mission and reminding them that they killed his wife. However, he quickly changes his mind. When Hover shows him a holographic video, in the middle of the night, Joshua joins Hover's team, working on a flight in New Asia. After the Nomad scans the area, the team lands in a field and Joshua leads them toward the lab, only to find a village has been built there. The soldiers decide to invade and start interrogating the locals, forcing them to their knees at gunpoint. McBride threatens to shoot a child's dog, causing the little girl to cry and shake her arms. Joshua realizes he is pointing at an altar, and when he twists the totem, the entrance to the lab appears. McBride and Bradley stay outside as guards, while the rest of the team enters the lab. They walk down a long corridor to find the technicians and document them all. Joshua checks the security cameras and realizes that Maya should also be nearby. The team continues shooting at the scientists, but this time the staff locks the bulletproof door. Joshua explains that the lock can only be opened with facial recognition, so one of the soldiers grabs a knife and cuts off the face of a dead scientist. Meanwhile, Bradbury sees the police approaching, so he fires several missiles, before pretending to surrender. The police attempt to arrest him, but just then Bradbury's missiles strike and instantly kill all the simulated personnel. Unfortunately, more police arrive soon after and start shooting at him. The team manages to go deeper into the lab and finds a vault that requires hacking to access. Shipley and Maya stay behind to continue working, while the others rush to find the incoming guards. However, they soon start losing men, prompting Shipley to rush and help them. When the computer finally cracks the lock, the vault opens, revealing a child left on a couch watching TV. Joshua is surprised to find that the child is a witch, something that has never happened before. Suddenly, a scientist appears behind Joshua and shoots him, then opens the emergency exit for the child, telling her to go find their mother. The child emerges from the lab and sees the outside world for the first time, but she also notices many wild creatures. Joshua follows her out, trying to find Maya among the other scientists, but he responds to the plane, explaining they lost the battle and need to leave before the Nomad opens fire. However, Hovind wants to check first and walks away. Bradley also tries to get back and runs as fast as he can, but something hits him in the back. It's a bomb attached to him. He still manages to get on the plane before it takes and realizes he has a bomb strapped to him, which explores in the day just before the Nomad bombs the area. The plane crashes nearby, injuring Joshua as well. The rest of the team returns saying they lost the need to leave before Nomad Carmen fires. Insists on checking and walks off. Gravity runs back fast but gets hit by a bomb. He makes it onto the plane, only to find the bomb is attached and it explores midair just as normal. Bombs the area. The plane crashes nearby, injuring Joshua as well. The next morning, Joshua wakes up and finds the robot girl staring at him. He throws a rock at her to make her leave. Joshua then investigates the area and finds Shipley, picking him up to take him to a nearby home and avoid the police searching the area. Suddenly they hear a noise and discover the child was following them. Joshua turns off the TV, but the Chai simply turns it back on with the gesture, making him realize she is a super weapon. Just then, Joshua's communicator rings with a call from Hoville, which attracts the attention of a nearby pharmacy. Joshua tells Horville about the child, and the colonel orders him to kill her, but their conversation is interrupted when Horville is surrounded by police. Back to Joshua. When he sees the girl drawing something from Maya's body, suddenly they are spotted by the farmer, who promises to protect Alfie. Joshua's translator reveals the Sims records, and he quickly shoots first, killing the farmer and alerting the police to their location. Joshua then asks Alfie where to find Maya, and the child says she's in the temple. Just then, the police surround the house and open fire. So Joshua drags Shipley and the girl to the farmer's truck. As the police throw a grenade, a dog grabs it and carries it outside, causing a massive explosion. The girl then uses her powers to start the truck, allowing the group to escape. Meanwhile, McBride and Havel team up to kill B and take over, the one turning the car around to search for Joshua. After a while, she points a gun at Joshua and demands to go to the hospital. Joshua explains they are too far from the American base and promises to take him to see a friend. Unfortunately, Shipley dies in the truck from his injuries. Just then, Joshua notices a car pulling up fast. He quickly hides the girl's robot head with a hat. Since she has no name, he calls her Alfie, inspired by the name Alfeomi. When the car stops, Joshua approaches the driver with his gun and demands a ride to the city. After a while, McBride and Hover discover the abandoned car, along with Shipley's body. Hover uses a device to transfer Shipley's consciousness into the simulated body for 30 years. However, when she sees his own body, he panics and can only say that Joshua took him to see a friend before dying again. At night, the car stops at a checkpoint because authorities have received wanted posters for Joshua and Alfie. Joshua hides in the back, but a police officer sees Alfie and asks her to remove her hat. Alfie uses her powers to create a power outage, then generates sparks on a sign to distract everyone. She starts the car again, driving into the city and escaping the police. Their escape is reported on the police frequency, so Hoville and McBride learn about it. Meanwhile, a police officer who looks like Bloke finds a body on the side of the door, asks Alfie where Maya is, but she doesn't answer. The simplest arrive, and Joshua takes Alfie onto a train to escape. He notices other women resembling Maya, but they are just simulations with her donated fees. During the journey, Alfie asks many existential questions. Joshua explains that good people go to heaven, but he doesn't think he's good enough. Alfie says she can't go because she's not alone. Joshua remembers when Drew tasked him with marrying Maya to gain intelligence. He gave her a wedding ring with a tracker inside. That night they get off the train and see their wanted posters on the city screens. When a citizen spots them and calls the police, Joshua takes Alfie to a sim factory to meet Drew. After the attack, Drew has a change of heart. He now supports AI and dates a sim named Cammy. Joshua asks Drew to get my ass location from Alfie, but her information is highly encrypted. Drew says Maya is dead, but Joshua refuses to believe it. While Kimmy distracts Alfie, Drew tells Joshua about his examination results, revealing he has the ability to grow. His current abilities are limited, but they will expand, allowing him to control all technology remotely. Just then, Alfie tells Cammy someone is coming to pick her up, but Cammy checks and sees it's just a delivery. After closing the door, the delivery man reveals he is another sim. A group of police officers joins him, and he activates the bomb inside the food box, killing Cammy. The police rush in trying to catch Alfie. But Sam arrives and starts shooting them all down. While Alfie calmly watches TV, Joshua fires at two sims, but hears more police cars approaching. He grabs Alfie and Andrew, then runs away before the police arrive. As the Sims search the building, two police officers reveal themselves to be Hovel, and McBride Hovel takes Cammy's head, planning to attack sometime later. Bruce's computer tracks the ring to Joshua's old home. When they arrive, Joshua immediately enters the house, finding the ring on the flooded floor. As Joshua watches the security footage of the attack, Alfie warns him that soldiers are coming, but Joshua snaps and yells at her. Alfie starts crying, and Joshua finally realizes she is a person. So she hugs him while apologizing. Suddenly, Drew rushes in to warn them about the attack, but he is shot down before dying. He reveals to Joshua that Maya is near Martha. Friends, the story has reached a crucial point now. Joe explains. That's why they launched the attack 5 years ago. They weren't allowed to arrive because of Joshua's love for him. Joshua tries to escape with Alfie, but they're surrounded by some soldiers LED by Haroon, and Joshua gets knocked out. That night, Joshua dreams of meeting Maya at the bar, and the story she shared. His father taught her about robots and AI, but when the war began, he had to flee. She was raised by Sims who loved her like a human. Joshua wakes up in a cell on a ship. Haroon visits him and explains that Maya's father was the original new marker after his death. Hannon became the new father and created Alfie to stop the nomads. The nuclear explosion in Los Angeles was due to a programming error by humans who blame the machines. If the Sins win the war, they don't plan to harm Westworld. They just want to live in peace. The military uses Joshua's desire to see Maya to make him guide them to her. Harden thinks about killing Joshua, but noise outside interrupts him. No mans are blowing up their bees. Joshua convinces Alfie to help him escape. He jumps into the sea as soldiers fire into the water. They think Joshua is dead, but he's actually hanging below the boat. When they reach the city, Joshua sneaks around, observing Sins and humans living in harmony. People grieve over a fallen robot, while a Sin teacher tells children to live in peace. At night, Joshua waits for Harlan to sleep, pressing a button in his head to put him on standby. Joshua tries to escape by boat with Alfie, but an alarm announces the Americans' arrival. Huge tanks begin destroying buildings and fighting missiles. Seeing this, Alfie leaves Joshua to help her people. Debt and destruction sweep across the area, with both sides losing many. Havel sends a robot walking bomb across the bridge, exploding and killing more. Havel then launches a second bomb, but Alfie blocks it using her powers to shut it down. Unfortunately, but Bright shows up and shoots Alfie. Enraged, Joshua jumps in and kills him. With Alfie unconscious, the bomb goes off again. So Joshua escapes with Alfie before the bridge collapses. Haroon agrees to take Joshua to see Nelmada to fix Alfie while the others continue fighting. Not far from there, however, reconstructs Cammy to extract information. Then they kill her again during the trip. Harun reveals Maya created Alfie just before the attack by scanning her own embryo. This means Alfie is a replica of Joshua's dead. Eventually, someone's take Alfie to a special temple. Joshua asks if it's a temple, and a monk explains the word means heaven, indicating Maya is dead. Heartbroken Joshua enters and sees a recovered Alfie lying next to Maya's body, hooked up to a machine. Another monk explains Maya has been like this for 5 years. The machine nearly keeps her body functioning. The Sims cannot hurt no matter, so it's up to Joshua to disconnect her from the human world. Joshua Christ apologizes for everything and turns on the machine. The Americans arrive and start killing all the Sins. Nearby, Havel enters the temple and holds Joshua at gunpoint while downloading Maya's consciousness into a chip. Harlem suddenly appears and shoots Havel, causing 2 soldiers to shoot back at him. Havel approaches to check on Harlem, but he has a bomb on his back. Alfie activates the bomb, killing Havel, and it stands up and tells Joshua to destroy Nomad. Joshua takes Alfie and Maya's chips before leaving. Unfortunately, American soldiers spot them, separating them as Nomad bombs the area and takes them away. Later at the Los Angeles base, Andrews instructs Joshua to kill Alfie. Since they can't get any information from her, Joshua approaches Alfie and whispers to her before walking away. Seeing Alfie's vital signs drop, Andrews assumes she is dead. Later, Joshua takes Alfie to One Follow. But on the way, Alfie reveals she is fine and was just put in standby moon. Using her powers, she causes the vehicles to collide, blocking the road and giving Joshua time to escape. The two run to the space post, where Alfie uses her powers to activate the boarding machine. As they escape in a plane, Andrews orders the pilots to fly back. However, Alfie uses her abilities to guide the plane toward the man. Once all the civilians are off the plane, guards enter, but Joshua opens the door, creating a vacuum that ejects the guards into the sky. Joshua then prepares the explosives, while Andrews plans a massive attack on all the Symbioses. When Joshua sees the missiles ready, he gives Maya's chip to Alfie and tells her to stop the attack while he installs the explosives. Alfie runs through hallways until she reaches the right room and uses her powers to stop all the missiles in time. As Joshua installs the bomb, set to explode in 10 minutes, Alfie starts running back, but goes down the wrong hallway. She finds a room full of sleeping Sims, one resembling Maya. She takes her out and installs the chip, but it unfortunately doesn't work. At that moment, Fuma Joshua's suit is running off, but Alfie abuses and takes into a room with air while she prepares the escape pod. Furious Andrews unleashes his last weapon, a giant octopus-like robot that captures Alfie. The restraints quickly close the escape pod, and the wheel cuts off the robot's tentacles, freeing Alfie. As Andrews prepares for another massive attack, the robot grabs Joshua, but Alfie uses her strength to drop it. Before Joshua falls during the attack, the door to the pod is broken. After some struggle, they realize they can't open the door at the same time. The bomb finally explodes. As the Nomad begins to explode, the attack is called off, and the missile lands without exploding. With time running out, Joshua tells Alfie he will meet her in heaven, before releasing the phone. He then leaves the room and finds Maya-Ronica there. The lovers run to each other and kiss, before the explosion kills them both. Alfie's pod lands safely on Earth, and she joins the Sims in celebration,